Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Pretty soon.
Welcome to The Launch with Tim Vasquez. Marketing expert Tim Vasquez soars through the world of business marketing to get right to the bottom of what it takes to make a business boom. From small startups to colossal corporations, this is The Launch.
Boy, no namby-pamby morning this morning. We got The Launch with Tim Vasquez here on the Real News Communications Network every Friday, 10 o'clock live. Not recorded, but live. We do have a recording. You can start on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, podcast.com. Right now, you're probably listening in your car. You're probably listening at home. If you are, you're listening across this great nation of ours. You're certainly listening in North Texas. Probably in your bunny slippers sitting at home with your mug of hot coffee and just enjoying this. I've got a special. I usually do news and notes. I'm not even going to waste time with that because there's no news and notes this week. The news and notes we got, by the way, say hi, Zach.
Hi, Zach.
There we go. We got our show now,
Hey.
ladies and gentlemen. We'll be here all week trying to deliver. I am wound up on 2 Red Bulls. Another guy that's wound up, and he's wound up all the time. He's a natural, just leader, entrepreneur, big time, and Scott Schilling. I know that's a heck of an introduction, isn't it? It's like,
I'm honored to
I know.
be here.
I know. I build all this up, and I go Scott Schilling, and so it's like, yeah. Where's the love? The love is right here. Scott Schilling, international business coach, speaker. You've been to Shanghai. You've been around the world. You've done a couple of presentations, about 2,000 live events. Not very many, and you've been on the stage with people like Colin Powell, Rudy Giuliani, Laura Bush, Tim Vasquez.
Exactly. That's actually what made it for me.
Exactly, because it's not just a namby-pamby thing. I mean,
right.
Notice I put my name inside with all that pantheons of quality people and stuff that you met. But by the way, so a little bit more about yourself is that you do TV shows, you've got your own podcast, you're a trainer, you're a consultant, you've got your own sales business. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk tips and tricks, a new initiative that's going to be coming to the United States. It started in Canada, and you were just like, when you walked in, you were all fired up about that. We're going to talk about that initiative. It really wasn't anything I was thinking about until you brought it up, and I thought, this is really cool. So I definitely want to talk about that initiative that you got coming in, and then we're going to talk about, what makes a great salesperson, and then what makes a great entrepreneur. And then the thing I talk with all the people that I bring on as guests, and this is for your back of the mind, I want to bring up later in the show. I'm so wound up on Red Bull right now. is that why are people scared to be an entrepreneur? And so I want to touch on these things as we go into the show. But if there's anything I missed in that little introduction of yours, please jump on in, and then we'll go into the Q&As.
No, you covered a lot of things. I've been very blessed. I've done 2,000 events around the country, around the world, shared the stage with virtually every name you know. You may or may not know mine. That's not really important. What's important is the fact that you have the opportunity to share good, solid messages with people who truly want those messages, and that's why I'm honored to be on your show, because you do such a great job of that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's the pleasure seriously is all mine when I have guests like yourself, because with no small amount of humility on my end, I'm just honored and flattered to have like the Dean Lindsays and the Darren Martins and Scott Schillings and the people of your note, because you guys are known internationally. And the fact you get to spend time and that you get to impart some wisdom to our people that listen to the show, I'm just very flattered. So let's go into this about a little bit about your background. You played football. You had an injury that took you out, and you had to make some life changes because of that. So, and then that got you into this. So let's go into that a bit.
Well, I actually started selling life insurance when I was 18 years old, and going to school and playing Big Ten football. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get that face-to-face communication experience through that whole thing. Now, as I was playing football, we were about to play on national TV. Point spread was 2. I was the kicker. A lot of pressure on the kid.
Yeah.
I went out a couple days before the first nationally televised game and flipped a golf cart, completely severing my Achilles tendon. I was told I'd never walk right again. I'd never play sports again. I said, Doc, sew me up. I'll be back. Well, I was back in about 5.5 months. And so the fact of the matter is, it's not what happens to you, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, or in your career or whatever. It's you're going to get knocked down. It's what do you do when you've been knocked down? You got to get back up. It was really interesting. Went to the Alamo Bowl a number of years ago with my kids. The doctor was there. I said, "Doc, thank you so much for what you did for me." He goes, "Oh, man, I can't say the word, but he said, you were upset. He said, you were going to come back no matter what. You were mad at you."
Right.
For kind of destroying your own opportunity by this accident. So, he goes, "I'm just glad it worked."
And it's because of those type of things, though. You had a particular mindset. It wasn't defeatist.
No.
And I think what people, when they look at an injury or something that takes them out of their game, they may just give up completely. Why do people not go, "I'm not going to be defeated"? Why do they stop at the one thing and they fail? And it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Even though they may have a passion for it, but they go like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. Why? There's a fear. Yeah.
Oh, well, fear is the thing that stops everybody. And typically it's fantasized experience appearing real. It hasn't happened. See, there's a singular definition that actually works for two words. Belief in the unseen, assurance of the unknown is fear, but it's also faith. Mm-hmm. So the point is, it's which side you choose. One is the negative side, one is the positive side. It never occurred to me to not work to come back.
Right.
It never occurred to me to accept them saying, "Oh, you're going to walk with a limp the rest of your life. You're going to have this. It's going to limit you this way. It's going to..." Like heck it is.
Right.
Not a chance, right? So I think part of it is in your environment and everything like that growing up. But the point is, it's also a learned attribute. Perseverance is a learned attribute. If other people have been through worse stuff than you have, you can too. The one thing you have to have is want to. You got to have some want to.
Even if you've got the want to, though, and again, it's the fear of the unknown because
Right.
you can't predict the future. But it's an instilled belief, though, isn't it? That you don't. So how do you break out of that mindset of "I'm scared"? I mean, is there a way to do that, or do you have to have an epiphany, or this is something I bring up on my show all the time because it bugs me that people are scared to try things.
Well, there's a couple different. Certainly, there's some great books on it. Susan Jeffers' "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway" is a great book. Right? You got to lean into your fear. The reality is the vast majority of things that people fear. Again, it's belief in the unseen, assurance of the unknown. Mm-hmm. It hasn't happened. It more than likely isn't going to happen. You have to lean into it, and then. What I suggest is creating an evidence log of all the things that you've busted through. So, if you didn't like flying, let's just say, and all of a sudden you were able to take a flight and you finished that flight safely, evidence, oh, wait, flying's not so bad.
Right.
It actually might be fun because it got me to a location I wouldn't have gotten to so I could enjoy something I wouldn't have been able to.
Wow.
You got to start to assign the victories. It's are you reward based or are you penalty based? Let's go into rewards.
Right. Well, isn't that more fun anyway?
Heck yeah.
Because to me, my reward today is having Scott Schilling on the launch with Tim Vasquez. Heard nice segue, huh?
That's right.
There we go. So heard every Friday here on the Real News Communications Network. We're here live, and you hear us on SoundCloud and iTunes. Scott Schilling, a little bit more with him right after this. Thanks for listening.
Please keep all hands and feet inside the podcast. More of The Launch coming up next.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Brach, and I founded a company called Tribe Wellness. There are a lot of people out there who have no training or experience when it comes to Parkinson's disease and how to modify things or what to look for. At Tribe Wellness, we offer group exercise programs based on leading concepts from physical therapy research and exercise science. We can utilize full body movements of boxing training, and that moderate to intense exercise really helps to improve major changes in their balance, their eye-hand coordination, their reaction times, and more importantly, importantly, their posture and their strength. The idea of the tribe is many people coming together, helping each other to do better. With other people, we can really help each other to fight back and have a great quality of life. So if you or someone you know or love are faced with Parkinson's disease, you can contact Tribe Wellness at 214-702-6559 or email us at tribewellnessllc@gmail.com. Tribe Wellness. Strength in numbers.
You're listening to The Launch with Tim Vasquez on RNCN.
Boy. You know, it's what you don't get to hear during the breaks. It's actually a lot more fun. But, you know, there's certain things that are said that we just can't impart during those breaks. This is one of those times that I'm not going to do that, but it's just really kind of funny. But it had to do with giraffes. And I'll just leave it alone at that. So how that came up. So my guest this morning, the lovely and talented Scott Schilling, international speaker, international sales coach. He's got an initiative that's about to start in the United States, which I think is just terribly fascinating. And we'll talk about that in the third segment. So you certainly want to listen to that because it's a huge deal. It's absolutely huge. During the break, though, we were talking, and I was saying, like, I'm introverted. And people find that very hard to believe, and it's because I'm out there. But I had to push myself to be known, to be seen, and I think it goes back to the fear for entrepreneurs, though, and salespeople too, because they may lack that. It's a fear thing, but I overcome it by just being this loud, verbose 2x4 hit you in the face sort of thing. What are the best salespeople for you, though? I mean, if you're looking for people in sales or people that want to be entrepreneurs, is it the introverted types or is it the extroverted? Is there a pattern that people fit that really make themselves well in these type of fields?
Well, I think one of the best things is the best salespeople are the best listeners. Because basically we're all providing solutions. So there are times where we're introverted, we're listening, and there are times where we're extroverted, we're talking. And so the reality is, to be the best at something, you have to truly care about another person. You have to care about their needs, their wants, their desires, their situation. And you have to do everything within your power to learn the most about it. To me, I come out of the Zig Ziglar camp. You can have anything in life you want when you simply help enough other people get what they want.
Right. That's being empathetic, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's empathy, and it really is just listening. You know, I mean, if it's not about me being on your show,
right.
It's about me providing service to your audience, which then ultimately serves you as well. And through all that, potentially I get served.
Right.
But I'm third. You know, you're first, the audience is second, I'm third.
And I think that's a parallel just in business in general.
Absolutely.
It really is. So let's talk about what makes a great salesperson. We kind of touched on that just now, but what, in your mind, though, defining that a little bit more, what does make a great salesperson?
Well, again,
besides listening.
But I think it's somebody who truly cares. I think that you want to take whatever your goods, products, or services are, and you want to know everything you can about them and the surrounding industry, understand who your avatar is, who's your perfect customer that this will provide a solution to. Notice it's not who needs my product.
Right.
It's whose problem will this solve. If you can connect that I've got a product, good, or service, and it provides this type of solution, and you can connect to who that does that for, you really have something.
And it doesn't fit for not every business needs you, and you do have to define that. For some people, though, having done background in radio and seen some of the salespeople, they'll sell to anybody to anything, and they're just looking for bottom line because they have to meet a quota. And because of that quota, doesn't that put unrealistic pressure on people then to make the sales?
Many times it does, and so their definition of an avatar is whoever fogs a mirror.
Right.
And just because you fog a mirror does not make you a good customer. Selling the wrong person is actually probably worse than not selling, because now customer service, everybody else gets involved in trying to satisfy somebody who's probably never going to be satisfied. Don't sell the wrong person in the first place.
How do people but that's an old school philosophy. Well, I can use just radio as an example because it's hurting. It just is, and they're trying to make the sales, and they're doing these multiple sales things, and there's so much pressure to make the sales. But isn't that kind of like an old school philosophy of thinking and of trying to make that sale or trying to push and providing the fog of the mirror thing? Aren't there other methods or aren't there other ways to still benefit from doing that without hurting your credibility?
Well, the fact is, some of us more mature. That's code word for old. Some of us that have been around for a while recognize that the old way is still a good way. The reality is you don't have to trick people into doing things. Quite frankly, it's a very short-term philosophy. If you want business to grow quickly, business will fall quickly. If you want to take and set foundation and groundwork, you will get more business over an extended period of time at higher margin because of the value you've delivered throughout the entire process. So again, are there ways of doing it? Sure, there's a lot of people who shortcut these days. We see it all the time. It's the quality value-added people who are actually making more money, more sustainable, probably have less customers, but greater quality customers.
There we go. And I was eventually leading into that because I'd rather have the 5 high-paying customers that are very happy and they're getting exactly what they need than having 100 for a lesser price and I'm doing 10 times as much work to satisfy.
Exactly. You're chasing a myth, quite frankly.
Right.
If it's not who you are. That's why with business you have to start, I believe, with core values and mission, and you have to know what defines you so you can define who you can serve.
So that kind of ties into what makes an entrepreneur. And what advice do you give to somebody if they want to break out on their own and they're tired of the 9-to-5, or they are looking for a job or a second income? So that, to me, that's being an entrepreneur, that you want to do something else. That kind of defines into it. What sort of steps would you tell a startup entrepreneur? It's about the core value of taking care of the person and...
Well, the other side of it is I think you got to have your why. What is it? I say many times in many talks, when you got a big enough what and a strong enough why, the how shows up. People keep on asking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to grow this business? It's the wrong question. If you know what you want to do and why you want to do it, the how to do it will show up. Right. So when entrepreneurs know, for example, my stated mission is to positively impact 1 billion lives on this planet. I know what I want to do. Why do I want to do that? Because I believe God has given me the talents and capabilities to serve that many people. Well, all of a sudden, I run into you. This is one of the hows. I didn't try to make being on your show a how. What I did is I stated the what and the why, and the how showed up.
And again, I've seen you speak before, and I just was so impressed that your deliverance to help people is, again, second to none. And I just thought it was amazing. And so when I did approach you, I said, "Hey, look, Scotty, we know each other for a while, but
sure,
come on the show. I mean, you have a lot to offer in a lot of regards." And I just was so impressed. So I know that a lot of you guys that are listening and watching, there's a lot of takeaway with all this. And if you want to, catch up on all this, again, you can hear the show back on iTunes or SoundCloud or Google Play or Stitcher or whatever it might be. The show's we're streaming it on YouTube. We'll be playing it later on this afternoon. So if you do want to catch that on YouTube, you can be able to do that also. I'll provide the links. You're listening to Lunch with Tim Vasquez. Heard every Friday, 10 o'clock Central Time, here on the Real News Communications Network. We shall be back after this with a new initiative that Scott's into. Talk to you in a minute.
Fasten your seatbelts. More of The Launch coming up.
Hi, I'm Kyle Boehner.
And I'm Dan Slavin, co-founder of Callbox Storage.
Generally, storage comes at some hectic seasons of life.
Callbox Storage goal was to make storage simple.
We do all the heavy lifting. We show up, we pick everything up, barcode, take a photo, the customer can pull up their phone and see all their items in storage. No more back and forth to the storage unit.
Callbox Storage provides a service that takes away the hassle from the consumer. We provide free pickups, we provide inventory, and we provide return deliveries up to 5 items or 5 boxes per month for free.
When a customer needs something back, they don't have to go dig through a storage unit and figure out where the box is, all that. They simply pull up their inventory on their phone, click on the item, we bring it back to them.
Our facilities are all climate controlled, ADT secure. We're the only service that picks up and provides return deliveries for free on a monthly basis.
So if you have a storage need, just call us at 972-CALL-BOX. It's 972-225-5269, or visit us and sign up online at www.callboxstorage.com. We can get that for you.
You may now resume moving about the cabin. This is The Launch with Tim Vasquez on RNCN.
I tell you, one of the funny things about doing this show, every time I bring a guest in here, and Zach, I give you all the credit in the world. You picked the music for this show. I mean, I kind of gave you the idea this is the type of music I want, and Zach ran with it. And every single guest I've had is head bobbing. We all head bob to the music.
It moves, man.
It
It's
does.
good music.
Well,
Yeah.
real quick story: when my brother and I were doing a show together at this unmentionable network, and I won't mention. But whenever his turn to do the show, and he picked the music, it was all this soft, sleepy, boring music.
It was an early morning show.
Yeah, it was, and
Yeah.
it's like, my gosh, I want people to wake up. So whenever I got to run the show, when we changed every other week, it was always this upbeat and come on, drink a coffee, cappuccino, boom, let's go. I'm P and V.
Shot out of a cannon.
I
You and
was.
your brother, two sides of a coin.
We are two sides of the coin. But now, the good side of the coin in this conversation, Scott Schilling this morning. Again, significance expert, speaking guru, business guru. I mean, entrepreneur. He's a training guru. He's a consultant. And it's kind of the consultation that kind of leads him into this next segment, which I just thought was terribly fascinating. It wasn't even something I was thinking about bringing up, but when we got to talking about this, I said, let's talk about this. So this is kind of like, I want you to tell people about this. I'll jump in every now and then. But you went to see somebody that you didn't want to see. You went to an event. You were just going to go, but you didn't expect the things that happened. So,
quite frankly, I went to an event I wasn't going to go to
Right.
meet a guy I wasn't supposed to meet.
There we go. Yeah.
And everybody said, "Well, have you met Colin Sprake, the keynote?" And I said, "No, and they said, "Why?" And they said, "Well, because you guys are kind of the same guy. You come from a heart-centeredness with everything you do. His desire is to put heart and soul back into business. You do your heart-centered selling. You've got your heart-centered definitions, on how to do this. You guys should really get to know each other." Well, I got to hear him speak. I wasn't scheduled to speak at that event. I ended up speaking twice. He got to hear me speak. It goes back to what I share with a lot of people. 99% of success is just showing up. You've got to put yourself in that environment. Well, in doing so, Colin's got an amazing training organization up in Canada called Make Your Mark, 47,000 existing students, heart-centered entrepreneurial training, sales, marketing, hiring, firing, profit, business planning, exposure, everything that an entrepreneur needs to be successful. Well, he and I started talking. He said, "I've got a desire to do this, and bring it to the United States." And I said, "You know what, Colin? All that can happen except one thing may happen in doing that." And he said, "What's that?" I said, "You'll destroy your family." And he said, "I'll never let that happen. It's my number one priority. It's what I teach." And I
Right.
said, "It's not a matter of let, it's a matter of it will." He goes, "Why are you so certain?" And I said, "Well, I helped take another company from $8 million to nearly $100 million a year, and I watched it happen by the CEO and the founder there." And he said, "Well, I'll never let it happen." And I said, "Again, it's not let, it's the environment." I said, "The good news is I've already lived through this one. I would love to partner with you to be an asset to you to Make Your Mark to the United States." That's exactly what we're doing.
But he didn't understand what you were saying, though. You had to explain that to him.
Well, most people don't take care of somebody else. They're not willing to put themselves on the line. I wasn't trying to position myself for anything.
Right.
I was being a friend or a counselor who had lived an event, and I even said, "I know we don't know each other well, but I want to share something from an experience." So again, I talk all the time about you have to have high intention, low attachment. A high intention of imparting something good, a low attachment as to what that is, what it will do for them or for you. So the point is, there was no attachment. It was a care and concern for him after hearing what he was saying.
It always goes back to, and we talked about this, and again, all the and from what I know, all the big time people, it's never about me. It's never, even though people that are watching me on Facebook Live that are my friends, yes, it's always about me, the circle of Tim. There we go, big circle. Big circle of Tim. But it's about helping people out. It's about what can I do for you? It's always that. The ones that are most successful is always about that.
It's a servant leader mentality. I was fortunate enough, I read See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar when I was 17 years old. That quote stuck in my being. It's my entire career has been based around, you can have anything in life you want when you simply help enough other people get what they want. So you have to find what your rally cry is.
Right.
For me, that's what it is. For Colin, that's what it is. So it became something where coming together becomes very natural.
All right, so they got 47,000 students now. So what? And you talk about it's about helping with sales and marketing and entrepreneurship. Is it like a university? I mean, what is so?
In essence, it's like an academy.
Okay.
Where we do live events, and we actually serve entrepreneurs. See, there's a lot of purposeful entrepreneurs, but there's also a lot of accidental entrepreneurs. Now, I define an accidental entrepreneur as somebody who just got outsourced by their company and went, what the heck am I going to do now?
Right.
Oh, I'll be an entrepreneur. So they haven't really studied entrepreneurialism. They don't understand all the facets. They don't understand all the education that they need or all the knowledge that they need. And so really, Make Your Mark is exactly that. We are entrepreneurial training for those who desire to grow their entrepreneurial business.
Oh, no, I love that. There's a lot of dog and pony shows out there that do that sort of thing. There are a lot of them, and frankly, I don't really care. I'll call them out. I don't mind. But again, knowing you and your passion to help people out, I know it's not a shyster thing. It's absolutely not. This Make Your Mark. How do they get information about that? And then you got something special for anybody that's listening or a guest. We're going to offer something to them. But how do they get in touch with you for this information?
Well, they can reach out to me at scott@scottschilling.com.
How do you spell your last name?
SCHILLING.
Okay.
Reach out. We're a little bit away from the launch at the time of this recording, but the point is we want to give people as much information. We want to share as much as we possibly can. As you said, Tim, there's a lot of what Seagull Seminar companies. They fly into town, take people's checks, and fly off. Mm-hmm. That's not what we are. We are going to be here. We are being founded in the States, in Dallas, Texas. We're going to have a solid location here. We will grow beyond that over in 2018. But the point is, we are here to serve our students.
And I'm always a big believer. First responders always get the best stuff. You've got a giveaway for this, don't you?
Quite frankly, I will give, because it's you, Tim.
Okay.
Because of who you are.
Circle of Tim again.
Circle of Tim. This is about Tim. I will give anybody listening to this 2 tickets to our 2-hour overview, and then, quite frankly, potentially tickets to our 3-day business mastery. All you got to do is email me at scott@scottschilling.com. Say, I would love to take part. Thank you, Tim, and we'll hook up the tickets.
What's the dollar value on the tickets?
The 2-hour overview, $149 a piece. The 3-day, $1,498 a piece.
Zach size just went big. So that's $300 value just for the 2 tickets. That's a $300 value. If you get the 3-day thing, that's like thousands of dollars.
$3,000.
Gee whiz! All right, so email Scott or email me, thelaunchtim@gmail.com. I will forward it on to you. Anybody that's listening to the show, again, Scott's going to hook you up. Scott, I've got to wrap this up really quick. Contact information again, if you want to give a phone number. But again, how do they get in touch with you?
ScottSchilling.com, TalkingWithGiants.com, Scott@ScottSchilling.com.
Wow, I thought it was a circle of Tim. Apparently it's a circle of Scott.
Exactly.
Scott, thank you so much. I am so blessed. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you, everybody that's watching on Facebook Live. Thanks on YouTube. Thank you, Zach. Thanks you, everybody. This launch will be back next week with the State Fair people. Catch you next week. See you. Bye.
listening to RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.